quite often we come across these kind of blocks to working with people in the ways that we're seeing here. And one of the main reasons that comes up is this issue about health and safety.
Yeah.
And so there are kind of some main things that come out quite often. The first one of those is this issue about danger, that things are dangerous. And I guess for me the two examples, the key examples of this are ironing. I very, very rarely see people ironing, and kettles, and people actually being near kettles and using kettles. And it is just that issue about it feels like there's a block with certain things, that people just think it's too dangerous, it's too difficult to do.
And things like also using knives as well. So people often have a blanket assumption that people can't use knives, rather than thinking, how can I help people use the knife safely to cut their cheese or whatever it is that they're going to do. So I agree, we see a lot of kind of avoidance of danger rather than people thinking how to get people involved. And there's lots of ways for people to safely use a kettle, using a kettle cradle, for example, or a kettle where you just press a button and it delivers 1 cup of water, so that people can have more independence in making their cup of tea or coffee, for example.
For some people, it's the size of the kettle. You don't need to have a kettle that's that big. You can have a small kettle, which actually is easier for the person to lift and manage. And so you can reduce the risk down by thinking about it differently, rather than just removing the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And just even things like putting less water in the kettle. Even if you have to have a big one, not making it so heavy, so that people have a better chance of doing. So there's lots of ways to think around it, isn't there, for some of these issues, and it's about working out what works for that person, so they can have the maximum involvement in the activity, and not just saying, well, they can't use the kettle because it's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other kind of category, I guess, in terms of things about health and safety, is this idea that things might get broken, that someone might break things. Yeah. And again, there feels like there's a kind of an avoidance of anything that might get damaged. But it's about getting the support right, rather than actually saying, so we won't let people near breakable objects for that to happen. And it also means that we don't necessarily replace all the breakable objects with other things. I've certainly been to places where I've seen lots of plastic plates.
Yes.
And that's not what we want to see either. What we want to see is people actually being supported to use the things, the appropriate things, successfully, so that actually they can use them safely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a really good example of Joe being supported by Dennis, haven't we? Where the first time that he tries to take a cup out of the cupboard, he drops it. So Dennis reaches in, and as if by magic there's another cup exactly the same behind it, and then supports him a bit more. So he increases the assistance he gives him to ensure success second time round. And there's no fuss made about it. It doesn't matter. It's just a cup.
You pull it open, Joe. That's a bit more. That's it. Well done. Can you reach your cups? There's the one there. Oops, broke it. Never mind, that's okay. Come on. Get another one, Joe, that's alright. Oh yeah, that's alright. Come get another one. Just put that one in the bin. There you go, there's another one there. Yeah, get a little bit closer this time. There you are, there's one there. You manage? And I'll make sure you don't drop this one. There you are. Put it on the top. On the top.
You know what to do. I'll pour your milk in here, and then it's not so heavy for you to hold. That's it. Do you want to put some more? Is it all gone?
The other thing that comes up a lot is this issue about hygiene. So we get a lot of people saying, well, we can't do that because it's a hygiene issue. And so this might be about that actual people's own hygiene in terms of people wearing their hands in their mouth, particularly around working with things like food, that people will say, well, actually, so people can't be in the kitchen, people can't do things, people can't be involved in meal preparation. If a person's cooking their own meals, those things are not an issue. So that actually it's about not removing the opportunity completely, but thinking about ways that people can still experience those everyday meaningful things, but in ways that are safe for other people.
Oops. Lost it. Come on. There we go. Right, we're going to mix it. Are you ready?
So I guess the main thing is to be thinking about when those things happen or when there are reasons why we can't do things, that actually it really is about managing risk rather than just avoiding any risk at all. So the idea is to actually look at what's going on and think about how can I manage that to make it as safe as possible and to still ensure the person has the opportunities. Perhaps not the way you'd normally do it, but thinking about doing it differently, so adapting it so that it can actually be available to people. And there are loads of different ways to adapt activities.